Hello dear viewer, this build makes me proud. It relies heavily on charisma, which is kinda interesting to me. It looks suave and it uses the best weapon in the game, the walking cane. Don't question me, peasant, I will explain why it's so great when the time is ripe. Also, a rarely used legendary effect of enraging is a major thing. It works well with intimidation, or complements intimidation, or fixes intimidation when the intimidation fails. It's a cool combo, generally speaking. Overall, the character is a power-obsessed posh businessman, a skillful gunslinger and close quarters fighter with a pinch of an infiltrator secret agent. He can talk his way out of dodge if he wants, but after a glass or two of his favorite whiskey and a cigar, he often opts for pommeling his competitors with his modified walking cane of doom. A charismatic and possibly British gentleman, he likes to use the talents and protection of his friends. A huge green super mutant friend named Strong is a useful tool of intimidation and distraction. The psychopathic determination of that Irish redhead can be quite effective in combat, and she opens all locked doors and saves for him. A more discreet, skillful support of MacCready is also quite useful. His affinity perk allows us to successfully use VATS at greater distance, which makes the enraging effect on our 10mm pistol more useful. Usually you want enraging on something like a sniper rifle, but with MacCready's perk and some sneak, it will still be useful on a pistol. So here is the list of mods used. My favorite set of armor and clothing overhaul, love to craft and more weaves, so I have full freedom in fashion choices and benefit from whatever legendary effects a piece of armor can have without ditching my favorite suit. There is also Start Me Up, as I wanted to make this character a traveling trader born and raised after the Great War, and also avoid feeling like a total douche for abandoning the main quest, or at least postponing the main quest until my glorious trading and raiding empires are well developed. Speaking of which, this character is a little bit wicked. He builds a peaceful commerce-heavy empire with one hand and a scary raider empire with another, because he likes money so much. To have some decent income from both standard settlements and raider outposts, you need to specialize some of your settlements in farming, so they provide tons of food and water for your trading settlements and raider outposts. Also, the combat effectiveness of this gentleman quite literally depends on whiskey and cigars. I'm not even kidding. The Party Boy perk will be a major boost to your overall power, and Smokeable Cigars from the Smokeable Cigars mod are quite OP. They double your sneak attack bonus. Don't ask me why, just enjoy. The cherry on top of the mod list is a little one called the Walking Cane. It introduces some perfectly balanced mods for a walking cane. What else? With rank 2 of Blacksmith, we will be able to deal bleeding damage with a cane, add the wounding legendary effect to it, and considering it will all stack with itself, you should never need any other melee weapon. And for the pure aesthetics, since this guy really likes wealth, including gold, he paints his favorite gun and his Pip-Boy gold. We have Gunmetal Weapon Skins and Pip-Boy skin pack. We will start the game with the strength of 3, perception of 4, endurance of 5, charisma of 7, intelligence of 5, agility of 3, and luck of 1. We will increase charisma with your special magazine and increase the attribute twice before level 10. Early game we will rely on companions so much we will take the inspirational perk. Not the best perk in the world, but it suits the concept, and since it will take some time for us to get all the weaves and weapon mods, betting on our friends like Strong to take the heat of the battle is probably the best thing to do at this early stage. Because of this approach we will be increasing our physical stats later and gradually taking more and more active role in combat. Let's look at the perks. Strength will need to be increased 3 times and maybe even get a bubble head. Most of our perks will not require the attributes to be very high, but we need to carry a lot of drugs and the inevitable water and all the cigars. More importantly, we need to deal some decent damage with our cane. For its perks we need 4 ranks in big leagues, all 4 in armorer and 3 in blacksmith. Since we can only engage in melee after our endurance is increased too, and some upgrades are made for our suit, I would recommend taking 4 ranks of big leagues only around level 20. Other than that, we need strength perks only for weapon and armor upgrades. We need no further increases in perception. A bubblehead would be nice, but not necessary. You will mainly use VATS for melee combat, oddly enough, and it has pretty much the same chance to hit regardless of perception. Guns are mainly for intimidation and sneak attacks. This will however change in the late game, but as mentioned, MacCready affinity perk should be obtained at that point, so it should more or less all work well together. Endurance needs to be increased 4 times, and unfortunately all ranks in toughness have to be taken. I say unfortunately because it is not the most effective perk, nor is it the most effective way of increasing your damage resistance, but our fashion choices generate so much risk, it is probably good to remember every little bit that can increase your chance of survival. 1 rank of chem resistant will be a massive improvement to our combat efficiency and survivability, because drugs are the best in this game, and we need to use it almost constantly. And with the Party Boy perk in Charisma, you can intoxicate yourself constantly without repercussion with your cigars, whiskey and other party enhancers. For Charisma we need to raise the attribute itself to 10, get 2 ranks of Cup Collector and all ranks of Party Boy and Local Leader and Inspirational and Intimidation. Party Boy is rather important, doubling the effects of your Scotch and whiskey will help jump into combat even with your mediocre physical stats, especially when your gear is all ready to go. Saving yourself from addiction is also an obvious improvement, since you will need to get tipsy for every combat. Local Leader and Cup Collector will make you a ton of cups, which you will mainly use to upgrade your settlements and raider outposts to make even more cups. With your charisma being high from the beginning of the game, you can easily have a nice trading empire in one corner of the map and a raider empire in another. Inspirational may not be the best perk in the game, but it helps with followers who already are rather scary, like Strong. Thanks to your blacksmith perk, you can easily equip him with a highly improved super sledge too. Intimidation is also often thought to be a waste of perk points, but I think people who say that may lack a little bit of patience. The perk gets better late in the game as it affects enemies of a lower level than yours. You also need to keep trying. If it fails, just shoot to kill. If it does work, you get an extra follower and some firepower. Also, with the enraging legendary effect on your main gun, you get 2 different ways of affecting enemy behavior, so there will be fights where you don't need to do that much yourself. Intelligence needs to be raised twice, because 1 rank of Chemist is required to make Overdrive a key drug for this build. Overdrive gives you a chance to score a critical hit outside of VATS, and the enraging effect works only on critical hits, so the drug basically gives us a chance to enrage people outside of VATS. Fury is another useful substance, increasing your damage and damage resistance, also requiring 1 rank of Chemist. You can also make your own stimpaks with this 1 perk, and with your charisma you can earn a lot of money simply by selling excess stimpaks and drugs. Agility starts at 3 and we don't really need any increases. This is because the walking cane has an exceptionally low action point cost, so close combat will still be quite rewarding even without that many action points. All ranks of Gunslinger and 4 in Sneak can all be taken with the attribute of 3. Both these perks will mean a lot to the combat style, so try taking them as they become available. Luck needs no increases or perks. We will increase its value through equipment and alcohol with the Party Boy perk. This means late game, when under influence, our effective luck will be at 9, enabling a somewhat frequent use of critical hits in VATS. Speaking of which, we need a fully battle-weaved bowler hat with a lucky legendary mod that's +1 endurance and +2 luck just from the hat. Then the fully battle-woven patched suit with the powered legendary mod, increasing our action point refresh speed. On our invisible or hidden armor pieces, prioritize the legendary effects, increasing your underdeveloped attributes. So at least one more lucky legendary mod, then fortifying and cunning effects. As for the standard non-legendary mods, remember about deep-pocketed, dense, ultralight and fiberglass. I used a mix of synth and combat armor pieces. For the weapons, we of course have our super duper walking cane, which carries a sharp mod, improving the base damage 4 times over, and with a wounding legendary effect which deals 5 damage per second for 5 seconds and famously stacks with itself. In VATS, with the weapon's laughable action point cost, you can stack it 4 or 5 times over on a single target with no problems at all. Then we need a 10mm gun with the enraging legendary effect. The faster it shoots, the better, especially with the Fury. You shoot fast, you get a chance for a critical hit with every shot, and then that every critical hit will enrage your targets. So that's why you need to increase the fire rate of your gun as much as you can. Possibly not the auto receiver though, it's very fast, but it also decreases your damage and you don't have any perks for auto weapons. Just keep that in mind. You won't have the Gunmetal perk either, so use your considerable wealth and charisma to buy already modified weapons. For the harder fights, where your charm won't matter that much, have a highly improved .44 pistol with a 2-shot effect. Up close and at mid-range it can be absolutely deadly, and with your luck and agility buffed with gear and booze, you will have no problem using it in VATS and out of VATS with your superior sneak. So in the end you will get a character of many talents, skillful at sneaking but ready for open combat, yet still capable of avoiding it and controlling the fight with intimidation and mind-affecting bullets, hopelessly rich and drunk, smelling of high-class tobacco and scotch. I hope you will have fun with this one, and remember to leave a like and subscribe and comment, and we will see each other again. Bye bye.
Jugglers and singers require applause. You are a
gamer!